Okay, AP exams are just around the corner. And if you're like most people, you are probably feeling the pressure. But what if I told you that the real key to nabbing a 5 isn't about cramming more, but about studying smarter? Well, today, we're going to unlock the strategic blueprint that top students use to absolutely master these exams.
So let me just start by asking you this. Do you honestly think you need to read and memorize every single page of your textbook to get a 5? It's that question that haunts so many of us when we're staring at that mountain of reading, right? But the answer, well, it might just surprise you.
And the answer is a huge, resounding no. See, the real enemy isn't the amount of stuff you have to learn. It's going into it without a strategy. It's kind of like the difference between wandering around lost in the woods versus having a GPS and a clear map to your destination. So let's draw that map right now.
So the very first thing we have to do is change our entire mindset. I want you to stop thinking of the AP exam as just some big, scary test of knowledge and start seeing it for what it really is. It's a game that has its own rules, its own patterns, and its own strategies. And your job? It's to master that game.
This means you've got to get off the sidelines and into the action. You know, passive review, like just rereading your notes or highlighting, that's like watching the game from the stands. You're not really in it. But active recall, that's you on the field making the plays. You're forcing your brain to pull that information out, and that's what builds those mental muscles.
All right, so how do you actually master this game? Well, first things first, you've got to learn the rules. Before you even think about cracking open a textbook to study content, you need to deconstruct the exam itself.
This means you need to become an expert on the exam format. What are the question types? How much is each section actually worth? I mean, this is so crucial. If you know that the free response questions are worth half your grade, you're not going to spend 90% of your study time on multiple choice, right? It's all about strategically using your most valuable resource, your time.
And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. These exams are not just about what you know. They're about what you can do with what you know. They're built to reward your critical thinking skills and how you explain yourself, not just your ability to spit back facts.
So your first mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become fluent in the language of the exam. I'm talking about the task verbs. You know those action words in every single prompt that tell you exactly what the graders are looking for? Words like analyze, compare, evaluate. These are the keys to unlocking those top scores.
Just take the word analyze, for example. When you see that, it's not just asking you to describe something. It's a command. It's telling you to break it down, to show the cause and effect, to reveal the connections between different ideas. Genuinely understanding that one little distinction is often what separates a 3 from a 5.
And you know, this leads us perfectly into our second pillar, how to study smarter, not harder. This is all about optimizing your study time and focusing your precious energy where it's going to have the absolute biggest impact on your score. And your secret weapon for this is a document that, honestly, most students tragically overlook. It's the official AP course and exam description, or what we call the CED. Seriously, this isn't just some guide. It is the literal blueprint for the test, straight from the people who actually write it.
Think of the CED as your treasure map. It points you directly to the most valuable information. Just look at this slide. You can see that some units are weighted way more heavily than others. So by focusing most of your effort on these high-yield topics, you're making sure every hour you study is maximizing your potential points.
But how do you actually study this high-yield stuff effectively? This is where that active recall we talked about comes roaring back. I mean it. Ditch the passive rereading and get your brain working. Use flashcards, quiz yourself all the time, and try this. Explain a concept out loud to an empty room. Here's the rule. If you can't explain it simply, you don't really know it well enough yet.
So, you've learned the rules of the game. You're training smart. Now, it's time for the final, and maybe most important pillar, mastering the actual game on exam day.
And just like an athlete getting ready for a championship game, you have to simulate the real thing. There is absolutely no substitute for taking full-length, timed practice exams. This isn't just about testing your knowledge. It's about building up the mental stamina and the pacing to go the distance when it counts.
But listen, practice is only as good as the feedback you get from it. And that is where your real secret weapon comes in. I'm talking about the error log. Now, this is way more than just a list of what you got wrong.
It's a powerful tool for turning your weaknesses into your strengths. It's simple. 1. You record every mistake. 2. You figure out why it happened. Was it a content gap? Did you run out of time? Did you just misread the question? And 3. You review that log over and over. You are systematically eliminating your blind spots. Your mistakes become your greatest teachers. And finally, let's talk about the single most important piece of equipment you have, your brain. You can't expect it to perform at its peak if you aren't taking care of your body. You have to manage your energy, use focused study sessions, get enough sleep, eat well. I promise you, a tired, hungry brain is your worst enemy on exam day.
Okay, so how do you put all of this together and make it happen? I know it can feel like a lot, but don't worry, here's a simple 4-week battle plan to guide you straight to victory. This 4-week countdown gives you a super clear roadmap. So 4 weeks out, you're focusing on content review, really hitting those high-yield units we talked about. At week 3, it's all about targeted practice on specific question types. Then, at week 2, you start building your endurance with those full-length timed exams. And in that final week, it is all about refinement, using your AeroLog to sharpen your skills to a razor's edge.
So there you have it, the blueprint for success. This isn't about magic, it's about strategy. The path to a 5 is laid out right in front of you. The only question left is, are you ready to build it?